It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margee McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margee McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend and co-host.
Hello, everyone. I am Ramona Ramirez. Hello, Margee.
Hi, friend.
Hi. I love you.
I love you too.
I love you so much.
We
so
had
happy
our
to be doing this.
regular, hour-long download friendship catch-up before we started recording, and I'm so much more relaxed than I was when I logged on. I'm
oh
breathing.
My God, same. Yes.
So nice.
It's just the best. It's just the fucking best.
Yeah.
Unlike this episode that we're about to get into.
But
before we do, we would love for you to, if you are enjoying the podcast, share it with your friends. Please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. If you're enjoying it, you want to throw us 5 stars, amazing. Thank you so much. If you want to leave us a little review, little 2-sentence review even, amazing. We would love it so much. And from our listeners that have been with us for a while, thank you so much. We're so grateful and glad that you're here. And all we want to do is share our perspective on these wackadoos. And I don't know about you, Margee, but last night, it was like a full fucking hip-palooza. It was a hip-a-palooza. All of these people, all of them, not Garcelle, but a lot of them, 80%. I don't know. I can't do fucking math right now. I don't know what the percentage is, but it was the only good thing is that we didn't really hear from Annemarie a lot.
At all. She had one thing to say, and when she was called on to talk, I was like, oh, I forgot she was there. I forgot she was part of the show, and I didn't care. And the only thing she said was like, I have lots of really rich, famous people in my... I was like, shut up. Get out of here.
It was so repugnant and repellent. It was so lame.
It's the only thing you're going to say is just brag about who you know, Barb.
Yeah.
I mean, did we mention we're talking about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 2?
Reunion part 2.
Yeah, and it is annoying because it's just recapping the entire season, like you said, where everyone is a full hypocrite. Nobody changes their opinion or position. Everyone just doubles down on their own bullshit. So I don't have a ton to say. I thought I was interested in how some of these things came out, but there's nothing brand new, you know?
Yeah, I had a lot of feelings of righteous indignation and righteous anger come up. I guess that's the same thing. But to have to pause my television so much so that I could write down basically the same thing over and over again, how can they not see that they're doing exactly what they accuse other people of doing? Listen, it's why we watch, apparently. But this reunion, I used to love reunions, and now I don't know. They're great, but no one's learned shit.
No. I mean, we start with a conversation about the distance between Dorit and Kyle, Dirtyfoot and Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy notes that it seems to have begun at the last reunion when Dorit advocated for Kathy's position in their fight. I don't know. Again, it's who cares? The only thing that stood out to me here was when Dorit said all Kathy wanted was for Kyle to recognize her feelings. And Garcelle chimes in and just goes, do you ever say I was wrong? I should have done it different. And then Dorit's racist ass just goes, I've apologized to you half a dozen times. Her racism got worse in this. It was amazing.
It did.
It's fair for me to defend myself, okay? And Garcelle just goes, okay. I just was like, oh, Dorit.
I don't think that Dorit fully grasps, because I could relate to this. Again, Kyle, Kim, Kathy grew up with Big Kathy as their mom. Those girls had no fucking chance. Many of us have no fucking chance until we have a chance. And usually it comes through therapy, Al-Anon, a combination of both, and it's for me at least, it's been a lifelong process to further break down, the effects of what it was like growing up in my home, an alcoholic, toxic home. Same thing that like where Kyle, Kathy, and Kim grew up. For Dorit, who has known Kyle, let's give her the benefit of the doubt, maybe 10 years. Now, if you wanted to insert yourself, if you, Margee, wanted to insert yourself into a conversation about that my sister and I were having as maybe like a voice of reason or bringing in a perspective, that would be understandable because you and I have a deep, long history that includes sharing with each other how growing up in our respective homes, which had similar dynamics, how those dynamics affected us. We understand each other. If my sister and my friend Amy was to insert herself into a conversation between my sister and I, that again would be understandable. Do I think either one of you would in the moment? No. But if you were, it would make sense. Dorit doing it, I can't to come to Kathy fucking Hilton's defense in the reunion last year, walking into a situation fraught with things that she has no fucking idea. She has no idea their history. I don't even want to know their history. Like, it sounds like a lot to fucking unpack what they grew up in and with. There is a book called The House of Hilton, if anyone's interested in, it's like we haven't even gotten to the first day of spring yet, but if people want to read a nice, have like a nice beach read or whatever, I'm not saying it's nice, but, it's supposed to be a deep dive into what that was like. And it sounds like 10 kinds of a horror show, Dorit doesn't know what she's talking about. Don't insert yourself on camera then defend yourself. Yes, please.
No, it just felt like blatant social climbing, status fucking.
Completely.
It's like,
completely.
I don't think even if Dorit knew the entire grotesque history of that family that she would back off because Kathy Hilton is Kathy Hilton. And Dorit likes status and labels more than she cares about people. So I don't know why Kyle was surprised, but it's still a bummer.
I mean, it was huge. That was just right off the bat. She really is committed. She is so committed to her stance. Like, she can't let anybody else in. And what did she say when what did Dorit say that prompted her to say, that's the most hysterical thing I've ever heard? It was that she wanted to be on the side of the audience. It was that when Kyle said.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. So Kyle says, you wanted to be on the side of the audience and you wanted to support Kathy, and that was going to help you be an audience favorite or whatever. And Dorit answers with, that's the most hysterical thing I've ever heard. I couldn't fucking believe it. I want everyone to take a minute and imagine how Dorit would have responded had she said something to PK in a serious conversation. And PK responded to her with, that's the most hysterical thing I've ever heard. I want everyone to think about what that would have resulted in. We would have had a confession. We would have had a confessional about it. We would have had a fucking therapy appointment on camera about it. All of this shit. I don't know what the hell she's learning in therapy, because answering a question like that with, that's the most hysterical thing I've ever heard, is a whole lot of fucking judgment and just completely disregarding anything that Kyle was trying to say to her.
Yeah.
I just fucking...
That word is so loaded for me. Part of me is like about to ask, like, what do you mean? Yeah, because in our household, that's what my dad would always call my mom. He's like, she's hysterical. And then I remember the day he said to me, you're hysterical, just like your mother. And it's like, in our house, it was like, somebody having an appropriate emotional reaction to something really terrible is considered hysteria. So that word to me just like, it like does something to me where I can't hear it in an objective way. So is that what you're saying? That like she's basically calling her crazy for having an opinion
it's dripping with misogyny.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That word drips with misogyny.
It's just shutting her down completely. To be like, you're crazy, you're stupid, you're wrong, shut up.
Yep. And yeah, So right off the bat, I was Dorit, this whole episode. Fuck, man. Anyway.
Yeah, this whole season.
Yeah. And then, like you said, and then Garcelle says, do you ever admit say, oh my God, I was wrong? And she doesn't. She doesn't do it.
It's not that
I'm allowed to speak up on my own behalf.
That wasn't the question.
Shut up.
That wasn't the question. The question was, do you ever, God, dude. She's so defensive and lame. And then we touched down on Kyle's sobriety. She's been sober for 18 months now. That was kind of impressive. And I mean, Dorit, again, just out of line completely, saying that, she's noting the drastic lifestyle changes Kyle has made of working out incessantly. And I did appreciate Kyle for jumping in and saying, I've worked out since I was 15 years old because I'm curvy and I have 2 stick-thin sisters. So I've actually done this my whole life. I've just never talked about it before. So eat shit.
Eat shit, dude. Yeah, Erica says that if Kyle did have a drinking problem, they probably would have been more supportive or taken her sobriety more seriously.
Yeah, she was just saying they wouldn't have joked around with her.
Yeah, exactly, because they didn't see it as being an issue.
No.
And then Dorit says it wasn't just the drinking, it was the working out, the tattoos. And I was like, dude, if my nearest and dearest girlfriends are working out and getting tattoos, you know what I'm saying? High fucking five, dude. What are you doing? Do you think I would like it? Can I go with you to do that workout? Is it making you feel good? Wonderful. Show me a picture of that tattoo. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Hey, if you go get more, can I take you? I'd love to be there. I've been wanting to get one too. Let's do it. Rah, rah, friend.
If I have a friend whose closest friend has just committed suicide, anything that they're doing that gets them out of bed, they can sleeve up. They can be at CrossFit 10 times a day. I don't care. As long as they are finding a way to move through that pain and grief, fucking tat it up, get shredded. I don't care.
Totally.
Dorit is just missing the point all the time.
Completely.
So
Constantly.
Ugh.
Repugnant and repellent, dude. Oh, gosh.
Kyle says, Kyle defends herself saying, look, if I was being reckless with these things, we could talk about that. And Sutton interrupts and says, I'm just going to say that I think you were being reckless by saying that I had a drinking problem and I don't eat. And I was like, Sutton, don't bring our attention to this. Your behavior was reckless. Your drinking was reckless. Don't give them something to talk about, and there won't be anything to talk about. But her victimhood here was really, this threaded throughout this entire episode of Sutton just being nuh-uh, nuh-uh, nuh-uh.
I know. I know.
I know.
But
okay.
I know, but the way Kyle, when they did that flashback, it stabbed me in the heart even more than it did the first time I saw it. Where they're at Kyle's house they kept calling it the weed dinner. And I just think that sounded so derivative and lame. They were there to sample cannabis cuisine. Fine, I know it's weed, but I just, come on, ladies, elevate yourselves.
They're not weed people, so I think
not.
to them it was just
idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a weed person.
Listen to me. I am probably a weed person.
You are. You know a lot of it. I rely on other people's expertise to inform my experiences.
I've learned a lot. I find it to be a very helpful tool. Although I have been noticing that my psychedelic experiences while under the influence of ketamine lately have been a little more dull. And my doctor said that it could be cannabis. And so I'm taking a break to see what happens. And I was really nervous about it. And I am sleeping just as well. And I am processing emotions and feelings just as well. And yes, I noticed that between 5 and my child's bedtime, that's when cannabis would really help me bridge that gnarly 3 hours. And it's been okay. It's tolerable. I'm willing to see it through in order to see if it'll enhance my ketamine experiences. So, little sidebar. Yes, little cannabis sidebar. But yeah, I hated that scene when Kyle is passively aggressively saying, well, I didn't know if you were on like your first drink or if you mixed it with your foot medicine, like just saying all this shitty stuff. So there's no winner in this situation. No one's winning. But in my opinion, Kyle is the loser.
I mean, that was hard to watch again. That is a really ugly moment for Kyle. But I did think Kyle had a good point when she said to Sutton, she said, I made a conscious decision to not say you have a drinking problem, because I think Kyle's not, look, she didn't say it directly, but I think she means in the way that she said to Kim, like, you're an alcoholic. Like, I think she's trying to curb from that. But then Sutton is my dad, and my dad was a lawyer, and Sutton says, did you insinuate it? Did you or did you not? And I was like, Matlock, back the fuck off. Like, yes, she did insinuate it, but like this line of questioning makes you look insane. So like, don't.
Oy, oy, oy. Oh God, you're right.
No, but everybody, like you said, everybody's wrong. It's like, no, there's no winners, team nobody, but it was just this whole thing about Sutton Sutton getting hung up on Kyle, like planting seedlings about alcoholism and anorexia. And Kyle was like, saying I push food around on my plate. And Kyle goes, yeah, I would say that again. I was like, ooh. Because it's true. God. Sutton doesn't eat. Like, this is where Sutton's out of line. Like, don't bring this stuff up so righteously if you don't have a leg to stand on. You don't have a skinny little toothpick chicken leg to stand on, ma'am. Anyways.
Which she was born with. That's her body type. She's a ballet dancer. But yes, I get it. I understand.
It's that.
I understand.
But it's also like, I don't know. I'm so convinced she has a problem with alcohol. There's an alcoholic body type, and it's that, where you don't eat and you sustain yourself on vodka calories. And I know that body type. There's a lot of them in my life. And I swear to God, I think Sutton's meltdown is an effect of malnutrition and too much alcohol. In the next iteration of the reunion, she has her like weird. I bet it's a low blood sugar thing where her body just crashes.
I was wondering the same thing. Yes, I think I made the DT joke.
Oh, you did? That's right.
Completely inappropriate.
No,
so inappropriate.
But
I gotta throw humor at this shit. Like talking about someone's potential alcoholism is never fun.
I mean, potential, like, look at the show. They do a whole package of her carrying her own mixers around. And Garcelle says, this is America. We have grapefruit juice. It's like only people who are bonkers about their drinking carry their own drinks around.
I know. And then comparing it to hot sauce. Like, I have, I know. I have like little packets of Tapatio, and I'm pretty sure I have little packets of like little teeny tiny bottles of Tabasco. But yeah, it's not the same thing. I can drive legally while like shooting fucking glasses of Tapatio or Tabasco sauce. I can't drive legally like shooting vodka, but
no. And also there's this, again, an element of craziness to carrying around something like hot sauce doesn't exist everywhere. Like some places don't have it. And if you love it, you want to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can, anywhere that serves vodka serves grapefruit juice. I'm sure of it. So that's an added layer of,
God damn, dude.
I don't know. Look, this is just my refrain for the whole season.
It's America. We can get grapefruit juice at every bar, but we can't get a fucking bullet train. Still going to take me, 6 hours to 8 hours to drive to Los Angeles or fly on a rickety ass old plane. Don't have health care, but I can get Ruby Red at the dive down the street.
I mean,
yay, America.
Priorities.
Oh, damn it. Anyway, Dorit says Kyle wasn't honest with them about what was really going on with Mauricio. And then Miss Kyle, be honest, her fucking favorite refrain over the last, decade on this show is she has the Cauc-acity to say, what makes you so entitled to think that you are owed an explanation on what's going on in our lives. Okay. Yes, I understand that they had a young child still living in the house. Yes, I understand that her best friend left this mortal coil in a violent, heartbreaking way, and that it is grief I don't wish on anybody. I understand that. But Kyle is being a full hip. She is being a hypocrite, and I'm sorry. But when they have the other subjects that have come up on these seasons, like they've been gnarly. And I think Kyle should be dragged for this.
I disagree.
I know. I love that about us.
I think what she said next is right the fuck on. She said, I launched the season by telling you this has been the hardest year in my marriage. To me, then there's a kid involved, that's enough. Then she goes on to say, I've been on the show for 13 years. You have seen my child have her second birthday. She's now applying to college. My kids have gone to college, come home from college, gotten engaged. She said, I have 2 sisters on the show. My family has fallen apart. What is she hiding? Except that her like she says later, this was brand new. We didn't know what was going on. We were trying to put on a good face for our kids. Like, why is Dorit owed Kyle telling the intimate details of how her marriage is failing? Dorit? Blow me.
Margee, I'm going to say something right now. And Dorit Kemsley, if you are possibly listening to this, I want you to hear how this goes. And I say this authentically. And I say this with love. And I say this with humility. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Margee. All of those things you just said are true. You're absolutely right. When you break it down like that, I completely understand what you're saying, and I agree. You're right. Now, I don't buy the bullshit about my kid was 2 and you saw birthday parties and shit like that. Like, great. Like, who cares? I don't want to see your 2-year-old kid, and I don't want to see their birthday parties.
To me, that was speaking to who's at the center of this. That 2-year-old is the one who you're fucking over by making me say to everyone, Mauricio might be fucking around all over that kid.
Right.
So, don't, you know, she's sort of, I thought she was saying, like, remember to personalize this. This is Portia, you know?
Yeah.
That's who you're fucking over. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And she was right when she said to Sutton, like, she said, you know, you got a horse this season and a dating coach. Give me a break. And that's true. Not that there's necessarily more going on in Sutton's life, but like, come on, man. Like, Kyle started the season by saying—
we did learn that more things were going on.
Yeah, but she never talked about him. I didn't know it was an Uber driver that she was fucking. I thought it was a hired driver.
I thought it was her regular driver too.
Me too. But they said Uber driver and she didn't correct them.
I know, but
I was like, get it, Sutton.
Goddamn, dude. It's all request a quiet ride. You're all request a Sutton kind of ride.
Request like
JK.
Lay down back seats and
lol. But I don't. Yeah, yes, I hear what you're saying, and I really do. I understand those points. I don't like Kyle.
I know. I don't either,
like her at all.
It's hard for me to like be this up in arms, especially like you said, after watching that moment where she's like, I don't know if it was your drinking or if your foot meds or that moment. I was like, you
it was ugly.
Bad.
That was she plays real dirty. And then when she's called out, she cannot take responsibility. She gets defensive. The Kyle that we were seeing during this reunion, again, I maintain this. When I've seen her over the years on Watch What Happens Live, her real personality is she's kind of gnarly. Like, she's kind of harsh.
I don't think I'd be friends with her. I think she wouldn't be friends with me.
No.
She would hate me.
She wouldn't be friends with me either.
Yeah, I'm too much. But she did say something interesting with regard to Sutton. She said to Sutton, like, you don't talk about anything. Like, you've told us we aren't allowed to talk about Christian because he's such a powerful man, and we're not allowed to talk about Magic Mike, and we're not going to discuss Tahoe. Like, apparently Sutton does put the kibosh on a lot of, you know, and so to lean into Santos and her cashmere line. Stupid.
Oh my God. I understand. Damn it.
No, but
Damn it.
they're all, it's like you said, everyone is defensive with the exception of Garcelle, who has the right to be defensive. She's the only one who just backs down all the time. But like,
Mm,
yeah, it's what's so frustrating about these
it
reunions
really
is
is.
nobody evolves after watching the season. They're all just like as
Yeah,
bad as they ever were.
they are. And the thing you just said about, Garcelle backs down, it's like Garcelle is, in my opinion, the most mentally healthy person on this show. Because when you're arguing with someone like Dorit, someone like Kyle, someone like Sutton, if you're going to bat with someone that can't, like, they're incapable of responding with any kind of emotional intelligence or maturity, why are you going to spin your wheels and continue to try to ask for something that you're not going to get? So when we see Garcelle acquiescing, she's really just showing us, I'm not going to waste my time trying to get, what is it? Something from a turnip? How does that
Water from a
saying
rock?
go? Water from a rock, like juice from a turnip, like something like you can't, it's not going to happen. So abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Like, give it up. Like,
Yeah.
save your breath, save your mental calories for a conversation that will get you somewhere. But arguing with Dorit or something isn't going to do it. So she's like, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
no, and she
Ooh,
does actually a beautiful job, I think, of exhibiting, in Al-Anon, they say you don't have to go to every fight you're invited to. And like
dude.
Dorit does a lovely job when the robbery stuff comes up and she's like, here's what I thought was weird. And that's it. And Dorit's like, nah, nah, nah. And she's like, okay, well, that's my opinion.
Okay.
And it doesn't affect
Yep.
your life unless you let it. So it's like, oh God,
If
as
I was behind Garcelle when she's, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that's it.
Please. No, like I would have popped out from behind Garcelle and been like, yeah, that's what we all think.
I know.
And she
Yeah.
just had an answer for everything. She had an answer for everything.
Nonsense.
Oh, right. My stuff isn't where it was. Like normally, like, shut up.
The
Do
burglar,
we?
like politely asking the burglar, like, please, I wouldn't have any way to call my husband. It's like, oh, the burglar, of course, was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't think that through. This was a flaw in our burglary plan. I will leave your phone. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's the
Yeah,
dumbest.
I'm sorry.
People get their phones ripped out of their hands on 3rd Street because phones are like that. Are you fucking kidding me? Please,
Mhm.
PK arrangements.
I
Okay.
mean, honestly, I know. Like, what is it? Phaedra saying something in the buttermilk ain't clean. Something in the buttermilk ain't clean. It's true, and I can't stand Phaedra. I just don't like her at all.
I love
But
her on The
like,
Traitors, but she
but
is
but
a rotten human being to have
she
made
is
sexual assault allegations that were baseless.
100%,
She's a
and
horrible
I
soul.
can't forgive her for that.
No.
So, anyway, do we have anything to talk about with the weed dinner, quote unquote weed dinner with Denise? I mean, anything?
I didn't really. I mean, I guess the only thing that came before that was Sutton. I mean, again, I'm just really working out my dad shit with Sutton.
I love it.
Yeah. Sutton, Andy asks if Dorit thinks Sutton has a drinking problem, and Dorit just says, I don't know. And Sutton immediately launches and goes, I'm not going to defend myself anymore because I think we can all say that I do not, and it's ridiculous. And Dorit kind of stalls and says, like, I didn't say you have a drinking problem. And Sutton goes, then say it loudly, say it more clearly, say it again. What did you just say? It was like, oh my fucking God, you alcoholic. And Dorit stalls it more and she goes, well, I don't have any evidence. I'm not with you all the time. And Sutton goes, just say it. I don't think you have a drinking problem. Just repeat it. If I'm your friend, say it. And I was like, oh my God, she's threatening. She's yelling. She's like, and Dorit just says like, I don't think so, but I don't know. And then Sutton, again, just working out all of this is just a conversation with my father. Dorit says, I don't think you do, but I don't know. And Sutton goes, well, I don't know if you have a drinking problem. Carcass out. I don't know how many carcasses. So now it's your fault. Now you have the problem. It's like, oh my God, you deflecting asshole alcoholic. I said it. I don't diagnose. I don't know for sure, but this is not, if you accuse me of having a drinking problem, I am never going this long, this loud, and this far to tell you I don't. I'm just saying, like, I don't see what you're seeing. It's not a problem in my life, but thank you for your feedback. But instead, she's like, you have a drinking problem. You have carcasses out. I don't know how many carcasses. It's like you've lost yourself, dear Sutton.
Shit.
Have a sip of your ruby red ocean spray from your purse and
God,
reset,
oh
lady.
God, oh God. No, you're right.
I don't
You're
know.
right.
I don't know. I'm just projecting. That much I do know, but this is what's satisfying to me about watching these shows is I get to
Yeah.
see I am that is crazy what she's doing. And
Yeah,
I've been on the
totally.
receiving end of that
Totally.
conversation. And when you're in it with someone you love, at least it feels like they're speaking with authority. And I'm like, I guess it should make sense. Do I have a drinking problem? I guess do make old fashions at home. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then,
Ay, ay,
yes, the
ay.
Denise segment, all that stuck out to me is that Kyle and Garcelle have to explain to Dorit that Dorit is perceived as a mean girl. So when Dorit was saying your coat's on upside down, Denise was reacting to a history of Dorit being a bitch and trying to make her seem like an idiot. Does Denise do herself any favors? No, but
But
still.
I agree. She was being an asshole. Pull her off fucking camera. It's like, hey, come here real quick. I think your jacket, here, let me see your jacket really quick. All right, here. Like, you don't, she did the same. It was, to me, it comes from the same space, the same place as when Kyle was just asking questions about, well, I don't like to Sutton before the weed dinner. I don't know if you took your foot medicine. I don't know if you've had one drink. It's like, oh, I was just trying to help you. Like, if I'm Denise Richards, and I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a journey here, so bear with me. I'm Denise Richards. I'm married to one of the most notorious drug addicts to ever hit the tabloids, to ever hit our lifetime as Gen X and millennials. Like, we saw it. Like, we lived the Charlie Sheen
Tiger Blood winning
explosion.
era.
Tiger Blood winning, winner chicken dinner, winner Sheen dinner. Like, we lived it. You don't come out of that without knowing how to pick up on people's behaviors. It's called hypervigilance. Everyone who's been involved with an addict or an alcoholic, it just is part of the package. It's part of like how you're wiring,
But was she hypervigilant at this dinner? Because this was the dinner where she said, thank you, you're welcome. And then she walked down the hallway and went, like, I don't know if I agree with everything you're saying about what has shaped Denise and how she might. I do think this was a perfect storm. I don't know if Dorit was being as aggressively like, your jacket's upside down. I think she was genuinely shocked because she did say quietly, like, hey, is that upside down? And then she was like, don't do that. And Dorit was like, what? Because again, her jacket was on upside down. Like the whole situation.
I know.
She was out of her mind.
Oh, God.
Thank you. You're welcome. But I hear what you're saying. Like, Dorit is a mean girl. Denise,
she's a mean girl.
I'm sure is on high alert a lot of the time, especially when her husband isn't there. I think she feels a little like hung out to dry in the world.
When Aaron Pfeiffer isn't there.
For whatever reason, she feels protected when he's nearby. But yes.
God, can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine feeling protected by Aaron Pfeiffer?
No.
He's all, babe, here's a tinfoil hat, babe.
Right.
The EMFs are going to be too gnar. Take this, babe.
Babe, I have full-blown measles because I've never been vaccinated, but don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, babe. Yeah. Take this essential oil. I got it from Vicki Gunvalson's daughter, Brianna.
Ugh.
All right, back on track. The BravoCon flashback with Erica commenting that PK and Dorit's marriage is the next one to implode.
Yes, we sort of
being a show person.
Launch into a whole Dorit marriage segment.
Yep.
I did die laughing when Dorit goes, I've had an incredibly difficult, don't you dare, as Andy yawns. She's trying to say she's had an incredibly difficult 2 years. And as he's done on, as they showed us, 3 years in a row, once Dorit's segment starts, Andy just full yawns.
Because she's boring as hell.
Beyond.
And not interesting.
No.
She's not interesting at all. She sucks.
I did laugh when he asked her if she's on a budget. And she goes, no. And he goes, you're not on a budget? And Dorit goes, I'm not on a budget by my husband. And Andy says, so
Yeah.
you are on a budget. No, I'm not on a budget. And Andy just goes, okay. And then moves
Yeah.
on. It's just like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
Everything's a non-answer answer. Everything's a contradictory answer. Just like, fine.
She's so whack, man. I don't want her back next season. Why do we need her back?
We do not.
To watch the marriage between her and PK implode? Pass.
Except according to her, it's better than it's ever been. Like,
that was fucking wild.
To me was the only shocker of the whole episode. I was like,
yeah,
you're trying to tell us that he quit drinking for 49 days. After, by the way, you were just up Kyle's ass at the beginning of this episode saying like, that's weird that you don't drink. And now your husband stopped drinking for 20 minutes and you're like, it's saved our marriage. It's better than ever. Like,
I don't believe it. I literally do not believe that for a minute. I think that when she was like trying to decide, I don't think she knew what she was going to say until she said better than ever.
Mm-hmm. The pause was, as the kids would say, sus. He said, how's your marriage now? And she goes, like tucks her lips in and like looks up and around and is like, better than ever. Like and everyone on the stage was like, huh?
Plus, like, is PK, okay, listen, people can stop drinking and there's a difference. Okay, at least this is how we've learned in 12-step rooms. Sobriety means emotional sobriety, mental sobriety, spiritual sobriety, as well as physical sobriety, which is the absence of drinking or doing drugs or, whatever you do. That is what sobriety is. It's not just putting down the thing that you think is what's causing your problems. It's like when that's gone, you look at what's going on underneath. Not drinking or like giving up alcohol for 49 days. I don't know about anyone else, but fuck being around a dry drunk dude. I'd rather be around someone who's actively drinking or someone who's working on a program of recovery. Doesn't have to be 12 steps, but just something that's addressing why you were drinking. If you're not doing one of those two things, I'm not interested in being around someone who's not drinking, but who's an alcoholic. Because a dry drunk is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because like PK, I don't know what his relationship with alcohol is about. But like I have a couple of friends who during the pandemic stopped drinking and their drinking wasn't fun to be around. But they're not in like programs or anything, but they're much clearer and we're much closer because there's more availability there. But they're also better people than PK, just inherently better people.
Exactly.
So I don't know if PK, even if he was working a program, I don't know if there's like a good enough person to salvage in there.
You know what? You're right.
But I don't know.
He might be constitutionally incapable. No, that is such a good point.
I just don't know if I like PK any better. I know that my friends who were drinking, which, like lots of people became more problematic during the pandemic because there's nothing else to do.
Right.
I know that they're wonderful people and drinking separated us because they, whatever. It just became something that didn't bond us. It created distance. But PK, I don't know if I want to know him drunk or sober. He just seems like a
no. You're right. You're right. And when I said what I said about like him being a dry drunk, like I think it's because I do believe that he has. I believe
you're not
that
wrong.
He is a problem drinker. I don't think that. He just doesn't. He's always got those red rimmed eyes, and he's got that face, and
and the attitude too. Just the short fuse and the shitty comments, and like
the smugness. My fucking God, the smugness and the self-centeredness.
Yes, and I don't even want to say it, but part of me is just like, look in the mirror, buddy. Like you're so.
Bruh.
When the comment was put up on screen about what he said about Sutton, basically something to the effect of like Sutton making comments about Dorit, you're no Dorit and that's why you're single. It's just like, oh, PK,
Dude.
He's not the person to be making comments like that. And of course, I'm sensitive to people making decisions about why people are single. And also, the suggestion that I would want to be in your relationship. It's
Ew.
like, I actually think if my options are PK or single, I'm
Dude,
not choosing
if my
PK. So
hells to the no. 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 Ew.
gross.
Ew. Ugh. Ugh. Barf. Barf.
Anyways, now we head into the second robbery where Dorit got her $10K in cash jacked at Marshall's. And I did love her for saying, I love Marshalls and Home Goods. And I was like, ooh, get your endorsements, Dorit. Like, I hope we see her in some commercials soon.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
Garcelle brings up her skepticism, which it appears you and I both are
I mean,
on board with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and then she just rips Garcelle a new one. And it's just all of that venom and resentment and righteous indignation about how dare she call me out for being a racist. I'm not a racist. It's like all of that resentment was just channeled at Garcelle.
It was really ugly.
It was butt ugly. It was butt
because
ugly.
Dorit did say, like, that's a very strong thing to say, which to me is just her, okay, you didn't say angry or aggressive or attack, but what you said is angry, aggressive. Like when you said strong like that,
right.
I hear you. I see you. I know what you're doing.
It was coded. Absolutely. Welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where I can't tell you enough times how much Dorit sucks. Thanks for listening.
She's just, she's just the reason. She's just a good look at, like, unless people are interested in evolving, they just won't. She could not have been confronted more gently more times about her ignorance, and she just perpetuates it. But I did love Garcelle for fully checking Dorit's grandiosity when Dorit says, to peddle a false narrative on national television. And Garcelle sincerely goes, what national television? What do you mean? Oh, the show? It's like, this isn't the State of the Union. This isn't the Super Bowl, Henny. Like, relax. National television false narrative. Like, people aren't buzzing about, Dorit, with the exception of us and all the 10 million other Bravo podcasts. Other people aren't buzzing about, like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I know. She is a big whatever. She's such a big whatever.
She really is. I hope that dress just closes over her face and she disappears.
It got worse last night. That dress got worse. The shoes got worse.
The hair got weirder.
Kyle's shoes. Just everything. I don't understand. Her cognitive dissonance, am I using that correctly? Like the lack of connecting point A to point B. I realize I'm doing this with my hands, and that's what she does too, but I just like to look at my nails a lot, but I got to stop that. I don't want to have anything in common with Dorit, with Dirty Foot.
Dirty Foot.
Dirty Foot.
I mean, this was just a moment, like, so Andy then brings up the rumor that Sutton sort of started about PK having a woman in his car when he was arrested for a DUI. And this just shows Dorit's, like, racism on full display, because Dorit just says to that, yeah, what was that about? Meanwhile, you just screamed at Garcelle and, like you said, ripped her a new asshole. And then this rumor about your husband cheating, driving drunk, and you're just like, Sutton, what was that about? It was like, oh my God, dude, look at yourself. Yikes. She just doesn't come for Sutton at all. And Sutton has no defense. She just says, I heard it on the streets. And it's like, and everyone's like, ha, 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 ha. So basically, Sutton committed slander, and Dorit's like, tee hee hee, anyway.
I thought it was funny when one of them said, yeah, I think it was Andy that said the mean streets of Beverly Hills. I was like, listen, if there's a neighborhood that's going to be fucking mean, it's going to be Beverly goddamn Hills, okay? Like, the egos and the just the judgment. You gotta look a certain way to walk down a certain street, or it's mean.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
And it thrives. It exists on a rumor mill. Like, that's what everybody. Once you're rich and all of your basic needs are taken care of, then if you're not a great person, what you spend your time doing is talking about other people. Oopsies. That's
exactly.
us.
I know. It is. Yeah. Signing shit without knowing what you're signing.
Yeah.
Guilty. But I trust my husband.
Yes. And that's why I thought Andy said to Kyle, referring to Kyle saying that she'll sign anything Mauricio hands to her. And it's just too much small print to do the work to look at it. And Andy said, have you met my friend Teresa Giudice, who, if anyone doesn't know, went to jail because her husband used her signature to commit fraudulent acts at best. But Joe Giudice is not, you know what I mean? Nobody in their right mind would sign something without reading it if Joe Giudice hands it to you. Mauricio, I would be surprised. God. Tom Girardi, I'm not actually totally surprised. Like lawyers are, that doesn't like blow my mind that he was running a pyramid scheme for his own benefit. But I don't know. I would be really surprised if Mauricio was doing dirty shit with his wife's name. That would be a great season 14, but I hope it's not the case.
Yeah, PK sure would.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
yeah.
We go into the Pretty Woman date and PK and Dorit marriage package.
Learning that he was staying in the hotel
with Boy George.
And it's like, okay, when my sister's on a business trip, like when we were living in Chicago, my sister came to Chicago on a business trip. She had a room at the Fairmont. And even though like it was a, 10-minute like Uber drive, we hadn't seen each other in a super long time. So she's like, come stay with me in my room. And it was great because the Fairmont was so close to campaign headquarters and I could just like walk to work in 5 minutes. And it was one night. One night. But like, I'm sorry. George is staying at a hotel. And how long is PK staying with him?
2 weeks at least.
Yes. Like, I'm sorry. That is fucking weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird,
and
right?
Andy
It's
said
weird.
it. He said it's semantics. Like you're saying you weren't living separately, but he was living with George. And Dorit was like, no, because he would have moved all of his stuff there if we were living separately. And then Dorit goes, words have meaning. And Garcelle turns to Crystal and just goes, oh, words have meaning. And I was like, Dorit is so oblivious to how much of an idiot she is. It's shocking.
Words have weight.
Words have
and
weight.
I was
sorry.
Like, no,
That's
it's the same thing. But I like the Cauc-acity, just the bottomless source of Cauc-acity that woman has. Like,
she like is
bitch. Man, I'm so glad that was on camera.
Oh man.
So then we get to like where he's been sober for 49 days, even though we talked about this a few minutes ago because we couldn't wait. And yeah, I was all, that was my note.
Yeah. And I just don't, 49 days is not enough for me to believe that like everything's better than ever.
Hell
it's like,
no.
Really? He was
no
just
way.
partying with Boy George in a hotel room for 2 weeks. Prior to that, he'd been in London for 40 days. Like, 40? Come on, man. When you were asking him to come home. So,
right.
I guess.
I mean,
good for them.
Jesus Christ, right? I know.
Yeah. And then Dorit sort of talks about how she's felt a distance between her and Kyle, not knowing what's going on with her, feeling like Kyle was trying to avoid her. And I did understand Kyle saying, like, when I'm struggling, I pull back. Like, this was a terrible time for her. And I don't blame her for not reaching out to Dorit to be like, hey, do you want to know what's going on in my, like, in those moments, this, I either disappear completely and don't even answer the phone, or it requires people reaching out to me for me to be visible at all. Like, and
yeah,
I do feel for Kyle. She lost her best friend. She said, my entire adult life, I've been married. Like, this is a massive plate shift, like the whole landscape of everyone's lives who live under that roof is going to be forever changed. So sorry, totally. Dorit, I didn't call to say like, hey man, guess what's going on with my marriage? You'll never believe it. It might be over.
Totally. I do the same thing. Like my friends will be like, are you okay? And I'm like, I can't even answer this text message.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to respond to this. Like, no, I'm not. Oh, well, what's going on? I'm too mentally exhausted to answer you, and I'm in too much pain to tell you verbally.
And part of answering that question makes it real. Like, until I'm ready to say it
Yeah,
out loud, I'm not
yeah,
ready to acknowledge what's changing or what's lost or what's, that's so massive. Like,
it's
for
massive.
Dorit to feel any type of way about it, it's just, and again, just to be defensive about it, even if she felt some type of way, in this moment, she had the opportunity to say, like, I really feel for you, friend. Like, I'm so sorry that you went through that. And
Totally.
I wish I'd found a way to, support you better, but oh well. But instead,
Yeah.
Andy asks if they're in a better place, and Kyle says yes, and Dorit says, like, no, I don't think so. We'll talk. But I was like, Dorit,
I don't know who else is going to be your friend.
no one.
I don't know who else is her friend.
You better keep those kids codependent on you, because otherwise you're
Oh
just going to be alone
God,
your life.
her child collateral and the other one damage. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Phoenix and Jaggy. Nah.
Oh.
mm.
Then we head
The
into
Eric,
an Erica Jane. Yes,
the Erica Jane
the
package,
Erica Jane
and
Renaissance.
I was all, do we all love a comeback? Do I love this woman's comeback? Is a lackluster performance at SoFi Stadium that is like basically a pay to play,
Also,
is
don't you
that a
have had to
comeback?
have something to come back? Like, I didn't.
Bump.
Okay, nobody was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
where's Erica Jane?" It's not like this
Yeah.
Madonna tour where everyone's like, killing themselves to see, the old lady play the hits. She's amazing. I only call her old because
Amazing.
she's like an icon. She's been around for 100 years. That's not Erica Jane. And it's not a comeback. You're still in the court system. You're not exonerated. Like, you're, I don't know. And then she
Yep.
like takes the time to like defend her lack of empathy for the victims, saying that she appeared on that show under advice of counsel and so that she could present herself as a real person, not through the lens of a reality TV show. It's like, these people are widows. Their family members blew up on an airplane. That you aren't that relevant to them. They wanted an apology. They don't want to see you in more dimensions, you asshole. God, I hate her.
I do too.
She makes me
She's
crazy.
repugnant. She's repugnant and repellent. Erica Jane met with the victims under advice from her legal counsel, but she can't tell us what she discussed with them. Okay.
Well,
Like,
I think she won't speak more to why that was their advice, because we see what she talked on that show with them, and she's an asshole. She just comes off as a
she
defensive
really
piece
does.
of shit.
Wearing really expensive clothes that
Ugh.
her husband, her shady Ponzi scheme husband, bankrolled.
But she wore flats because
Right?
she's a woman of the people.
Oh my God.
She's such an
She sucks
ass.
so bad, dude. And then Kathy Hilton. Is this when Kathy's little backstage package comes up?
We do touch down on the fact that Tom has been deemed
Oh,
competent
that's
to
right.
stand trial,
Yes,
and
yes,
Crystal, whose
yes.
dad was an Alzheimer's patient and she works with an
Mm-hmm.
Alzheimer's group, mentions
Mm-hmm.
that if he's 4 years into a diagnosis, he should be too far gone to be deemed competent to stand trial. So somebody's lying. Probably everybody.
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah. The Bravo docket does a good breakdown on when they deemed him competent. They talked about how they feel about it. It was good.
the court does not do that shit lightly. Like,
Oh, no
if
way.
you're halfway gone, they're not deeming you like, he's fine. And apparently he's fine, because in that hearing, his competency hearing, apparently he said out loud, "Fuck you," to one of the people.
That's right.
Like, he's
That's right.
just like,
That's right.
he's Tom
Jesus.
Girardi. He ain't changed.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah, and Erica gets all righteous, saying like, if Crystal, if you're saying that he's faking it, then just say it. And she's basically says just like, the Alzheimer's math ain't mathin'. Like, I don't know if he's faking
Dude.
it, but this is not. If you're 4 years, look, my mom is going through some mental decline, and in a matter of months, lots is changing. So in 4 years, look, I don't know. It's just, Erica, just quiet. Just don't say anything. You're
Please
making it
don't
so much
say
worse every time you
anything.
talk.
God.
Ugh.
Ugh. So then we have Kathy Hilton talking mad shit about her sister while getting her hair and makeup done. Like, what? She's a terrible fucking person. Does anyone need more proof? I probably shouldn't be saying all of this.
And then was that Kyle off camera who said, "But you did"? Was that Kyle?
I don't think so.
I don't know who it was.
I don't think she heard
mystery.
her. Maybe it was part of her her makeup and hair team or something that said it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was like I can't, again, like the cognitive dissonance between what you should be saying and what you should absolutely be shutting the bleep up about. I cannot imagine doing that to my sister. If someone asked me questions, I would just be like, wow, you know what? I think you should really ask her. That's really not for me to say.
Or I'll talk about it on stage, which is what I'm here to do. Like, why are you...
Right.
Oh, it's just so... so sad.
God. I'm sorry, I just suppressed a yawn like we were talking about Dorit.
Oh, that's fine. I did love...
I'm not bored. I'm just tired.
At the beginning of the episode, when they showed just the shot of Kathy's shoes like clip-clopping onto the set, it was the weirdest like shuffle. I don't know. She's so weird. She's so weird.
She's so
like
weird.
The quintessential eccentric billionaire. It's like, what do you do all day? You travel with a box fan. Like, you're just crazy.
I love it. I love a fan.
So do I.
A fan. I can't sleep without one. But yeah, I'm not going to travel with a box fan, I don't think. I do travel with one of the little teeny tiny tabletop Vornado fans. Mm-hmm. I don't like white noise machines, but I do like fresh air and the noise from a fan. And so I think I did bring it with me when I went to New Orleans because I wanted to be able to sleep at night. And I was there for 6 nights or something. Like,
again, I am the queen of creature comforts, and you have seen it in full effect when I show up with 35 suitcases to stay for 24 hours. But
listen,
she's just out of her mind. Like, I don't even know if she's like on this planet anymore. Like, the fact that she's aware that she shouldn't have said that, but said it anyways, it's fine. Don't you dare.
Don't I dare.
Then we head into a Sutton segment, and like, this is just, I don't like her. So that's all. She blames her bad behavior on this breaking news that her husband's moving to London, claiming that although she's like a businesswoman, that she was too dumb to realize that after 7 years of being divorced, that she wouldn't have to move to London with her son. Like, what are you talking about? Shut up.
Oh, God. Yeah.
She's like, that's how much of a hold he had on me. I'm like, that's fine. 6 to 18 months out of your marriage, 7 years out of your marriage, as you brag about your store that nobody goes to, but it's been open for 4 years because you get $300,000 a month. Just don't try to sell me on this shit. You're not a battered woman. You're not like, I don't even believe I was wondering if he watches this, like, if what she's saying is not true, she could be in real trouble. Cause that's sort of defamation and he could yank some of that $300,000 a month. And like, he could playing a risky game.
I think that's why she doesn't like to talk about it a lot.
I wouldn't either.
I think she tries to like leave him out of it as much as possible so that
until it works to her benefit to say like, oh, it wasn't about pants, which it was. It was about, my husband, ex-husband of 7 years.
I did buy what she was selling and I should probably return it.
You did?
I mean, just in general, I buy the whole Sutton package.
But you think at Magic Mike, that's why she freaked out? Because on the back of her mind, she thought her son and her were being relocated against their will to London.
Oh, God. No, I don't. No.
She wore pants and she wanted someone to grind on her. And
she brought the singles to share with everybody.
Thank you for, clarifying that. Yes.
And she thought it was going to be more of like a
strip club,
a male review, if you will.
But then she acknowledged, she's like, I didn't realize it was going to be like a Broadway show. So then you knew you were at a Broadway show and yet you stormed out saying like, what a waste of fucking pants. I'm on the board of the ballet. Like, you are all over the place, ma'am.
Expectations are premeditated resentments.
Truth.
And she had expectations that she would get a very satisfying, intimate lap dance and be able to like make it rain on some dude. And that wasn't what happened.
Mm-mm.
And then she saw simulated cunnilingus and drew her line in the
Bullshit.
sand. She drew it.
She was just mad it
Anyway.
wasn't her. And it did make me laugh when Andy was calling her out saying like, but you've been divorced. Your husband doesn't have the right to demand you move to another country. And she said, well, I told him I wasn't moving. And Andy said, how did that go? And she said, it was fine. It was fine. I was like, Sutton, there's no drama in your story. You know why it was fine? Because he never demanded it. It probably never happened. Like, you're so full of shit.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
But then Andy does take a moment to credit himself and his shows with helping women find their voices and speak up in ways they never have before. I was like, dude, yes, and also not this.
Right. I mean, I'm sure it's also, you know, when you feel support from people, you're able to take more risks that you might not take.
True.
I can imagine that, you know, you go on a show like this and you have your fans that are like, yeah, you tell him, Sutton, you tell him whatever. You know, I can see how that could help people feel more willing to be in their truth. I don't know. You know what?
I think he's absolutely right in lots of other cases. Like Heather Gay, I think is a great case. Even Tamara Barney leaving Simon. She went onto that show as a proper married Orange County housewife, and then seeing that back on TV, she lost her, you know, willingness to comply with an asshole. So I think he's not wrong, but I do think that this moment was like, Andy. Anyways.
I zoned out during the Kyle and Sutton tete-a-tete at the end. I just couldn't tell you what it was about. I apologize. I don't know.
It's just it was rehashing of what they'd said before. The only thing that was interesting, I thought, was do I even think this was interesting? Basically, they talk about how on Watch What Happens Live, Teddy said that Sutton carries vodka in her purse, and
that's
Teddy
right.
was accused of doing Kyle's dirty work. And Kyle said, I didn't agree with it. I just took a sip of my own drink. And Sutton's like, well, you could have been a better friend, and said, no, she doesn't do that. No, she doesn't. You could have been a better friend. And then Kyle just shuts her down and says, there are things that I could have said that I did not. Let's leave it at that. And I was like, what?
I know.
And Sutton shut the fuck up. So like Kyle knows some shit, you know? Anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sutton backed off real quick. But she then not before saying like, you have to take responsibility for insinuating, you know. And then she, you know, Kyle, you've been relentlessly mean to me. It's like, oh my God, you don't know what relentlessly mean is. Like, she said disparaging things about your horse and your cashmere line, I guess. But is that relentless? I don't know.
God. I mean, the way she brought up the foot medicine and I don't know if you've had one drink or two. I just hate that scene because I hate that kind of manipulation.
That scene was awful, but that's not relentlessly mean. Like Kyle was really sweet with her at the Merce ash throwing, and
she was. Yeah, that was a sweet scene.
She was very supportive, and, you know, as Sutton talked about, like, you know, saying goodbye to her marriage, and Kyle just sat with her through that pain, and she's not relentlessly mean. She's not, you know. Anyways, but I think that's sort of where it ended, right?
It is where it ended. Thank fucking God.
Yes, Kathy,
it was where it was where it ended. Yes,
mercifully.
I mean, like, are we all supposed to just be like, oh, Kathy Hilton's coming next week? Because I don't give a shit.
I don't
she hasn't
either.
been here. Why is she doing this? Why does everyone dick ride for her? Is it just because she's rich? Is that why?
I think for everyone else it's that. And I think it seems like she's there to just sort of like counterbalance everything that went out of whack so badly last season. Just, it seems like she might just be there to say like, I love Kyle. She's my sister. I support her and whatever. But I don't know. And I don't care. You know,
I don't care.
She was a non-entity in this season. So I don't know what we're looking forward to for the next episode, but I will watch it.
I will too. And we will talk about it.
We will talk about it.
what's coming in its place? What are we going to talk about next? What show are we going to do?
Um, I can't remember what's coming in its place, but there's lots of good stuff on.
There is.
Summer House is really good. Um, Summer House Martha's Vineyard is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. We have lots of options out
We
there.
do. We have lots of options.
I mean,
We'll
Vanderpump,
figure it out, you guys.
all that stuff.
Fucking Vanderpump.
I didn't watch
haven't.
Erica's special. I was just like,
No.
So
I mean, I probably should, but I probably should, but I don't know. We'll see.
I should too. I just
We'll
need
see.
a break. I've had an ass full of Erica
Yeah,
Jane, and I just don't want to listen
totally.
to her like lie to me and be all self-important
Yeah,
about dancing.
I don't need
and just
to see her like getting frustrated backstage when she
Right.
can't get Mikey's choreography. And
we didn't get it right, you guys. That was awful.
Yeah.
It's like nobody.
we have 4
literally nobody
hours of
cares.
showtime, and we're out now. If we're gonna blah. It's like no.
I just don't buy it, ma'am.
I don't either. It's expensive to be me. Fuck off. Anyway, friend, what else did you watch this week?
Oh my God, so much good TV this week. I watched so much. I loved The Bachelor. I thought it was so good this week. So many dads who like really care about their daughters that just
Oh my God.
really pointed out some like healing work that I'm making progress on it. But like,
Yeah.
there's still like a weird pit of envy where I'm like, oh, look what's possible. It's
I
so
know.
sweet.
I get it.
But
I get it.
it was lovely to see. And then it was a big like sports is the original reality TV. Okay. So this was a big sports reality weekend for me. I watched this new documentary, the second season of a documentary on Netflix called Full Swing, which is about the PGA Golf Tour and the Live Golf Tour controversies and the players on both those tours. And they eventually merged. And this is the season where they merge. And it's fascinating. But the biggest piece of that in terms of what we talk about on this show is this season deals a lot with sports psychology. There's a player who started with a sports psychologist about a year ago. His career was absolutely falling off the face of the earth. He started working with her, and it's all about kind self-talk, and they show him in a moment he's like in the weeds and in this really deep grass. And he says like, prior to working with this woman, I would have been talking shit to myself, thinking it's hopeless and pointless. He knocked it out. He wound up, like winning the round. Like it was amazing. And there's another guy whose team is begging him to work with a sports psychologist because he's drinking. He's incredibly negative. He's wildly famous because he's a lovely character coming off of the first season, but his game is in the shitter. And for a number of episodes, he's like, no, I don't do that shit. And then finally, in a tearful scene on a private plane, he and his caddy are like, his caddy's like, I care about you. And like, I hate to do this, but like, you either talk to this woman or I'm leaving. And the guy starts crying and he just says, thank you for caring about me. And I was just like, people, we're all so broken. And it's all based in grief and trauma that he doesn't want to deal with. But he got to the point where he's going to, and I haven't watched the rest of the season yet, but anyways, there was that. The Jason Kelce retirement where he like wept and thanked his family. And I thought was so sweet. The NFL Combine happened. And again, JJ McCarthy, Michigan's former quarterback, is just the nicest kid on the planet. Congratulating everyone. Anyways, it was I was in a deep sports hole this week and I loved it. How about you?
I didn't actually watch a lot of TV because I was getting ready for the auction. So I met with my co-MC last Friday night. And so that was not a night for TV. And then Saturday night was the auction. So I didn't watch anything then. I watched The Bachelor. I was really happy with who he chose to distribute his roses to. And I won't give any spoilers. I continue to really like this season. I continue to really like Joey. I continue to really love the 3 that are going to fantasy suites. I think are really sweet young women from what we can see of them. And yes, their dads, their parents. I think I probably teared up a little bit. I know I mentioned to Josh, like, can you imagine? Like, can you imagine that being your father? did not care for Maria's dad one fucking bit. He was just all ego and bravado, and I was repelled.
They gave him a rough start, but I thought at the end he was sweet. Like, he saw how pure Joey is and was just like, you know what? He's
Yeah.
a good guy. Like, but yeah, I don't, his hair dye was very off-putting. Just a reminder, like, when I go gray, if I'm lucky to live so long, I don't want to do that. I don't want jet black, crazy hair. Like, it looks crazy.
You don't want Whitney Rose's dad's hair.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. But by the way, I was dying. I almost texted you while I was watching The Bachelor because Daisy, is that her name? The Christmas tree farm. I was like,
yes.
Is this your hell? Because it was like a Hallmark movie set. It was Pumpkin Spice Girls gone wild. Like,
was it my hell?
Yes, because it just made me think about like white blonde Pumpkin Spice Girls. And I was like, that is this whole thing. All of her friends going like, woo! And then they had hot chocolate, and like I was like, Ramona must be dying.
It was, I'm not about a Christmas tree farm that's all like schmaltzy like that bullshit. But I will tell you that this is gonna sound crazy. Like I'm going to sound like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? This is something we're considering doing. So I have a very specific Christmas tree aesthetic. I don't like full. I don't necessarily even like tall. I like wide, more on the sparse side. I want it to look like the Christmas tree shape from A Christmas Story, or if you're looking through black and white photographs from the 40s or the 50s. You can't find these trees on the West Coast. I cannot tell you the amount of time I've spent Googling where to find these trees. I've found like blogs that haven't been active for like 10 years, and I've clicked on links to like lead me to, I saw this kind of tree at this tree farm. So I go to this tree farm website that's in like Wisconsin, maybe in Minnesota. I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle. And I'm like, oh my God, you ship trees? How much would it be to ship a tree to California? And she's like, I would love to do this for you, but the way the agricultural laws are, it would take you so much time to like just get the actual tree to go through the California border. She's like, we do have people drive here, or we do have people fly here, get a tree, and then drive back. And I actually was like, huh.
Oh my God. It's like a 10-day road trip to get a tree.
I considered flying to the Midwest, chopping down my own tree, putting it on a car, and then driving it back to the state of California. Luckily, I was able to put an APB out in this parents network. And I was like, help me out, y'all. I'm looking for a tree like this. Here's a picture. Where do I find it? And sure enough, I found one that was as close as I can get. But so I was very interested in that scene because I got to see the Christmas trees.
Oh, it was sweet. It was really sweet.
But yeah, that was my long-winded way of saying that. So yeah, did we watch Vanderpump yet? I don't think we watched Vanderpump yet. Why? What was I doing on Tuesday? Oh, I had an audition that I was doing, I think, and it just went too long. Yeah, I didn't really watch a lot, but I have a lot to watch this weekend. And yeah, so yeah, every time the Oscars are on, or any award show for that matter, I think of you and how we used to get our pizzas from Pizzeria Mozza and then watch together, and it was so fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah, and I always have those memories whenever Emmys, Golden Globes, Oscars, doesn't matter.
Me too.
I miss those award show viewings.
Me too.
What was your antidepressant this week?
My antidepressant this week, and again, this is just something that like makes me smile and lifts my mood and pumps dopamine into my brain. I did a wig, wardrobe, and accessory pull for Evelyn's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion looks. So there they are.
Oh my God.
They're all staged and ready to go. So I will be torturing my dog with like a photo shoot this afternoon or this evening.
I can't wait.
But it brings me so much joy. And to watch her like absolute terror. I have this dresser, I'm sure I've talked about it before, a 6-drawer dresser full of wigs and dog costumes. And every time this poor dog sees me approach it, she sits down and just looks like resigned and sad because she knows what's coming. But
oh, bless.
It brings me such joy. It's so stupid and silly and ridiculous. And that is an antidepressant. So Boom,
Tell
there you have it.
everyone the name of Evelyn's accounts, please.
Oh, she's Evelyn Wears Outfits. Evelyn _wears _outfits on TikTok and Instagram. And it's just a stupid, joyful hobby. And
Love it.
she's such a good sport. So
Evelyn is such a good sport.
she
She's
really
such a
is.
sweetheart.
She gets
She
lots of
truly
treats and
is.
playtime just
She
so
does.
everybody doesn't think I'm just
Trust
torturing
me.
her. Like,
She's not just
as I
torturing
put her
Evelyn.
through these horrible costume
And that's
events.
part of the hilarity is that like she just comes trotting through the room with that look on her face in this
sad.
absurd outfit. I know. It's
So
hilarious.
cute.
It's so funny.
How about you? What was your antidepressant?
So yeah, I got to like co-MC the auction for the third year, and it's really fun. Everyone gets dressed up. The food was really good. My husband, my biggest fan, was like in the front watching and bidding, and I loved my outfit, my hair, my makeup, like my nails, like it all was just so
The pumps.
fun.
You looked
The pumps.
amazing.
Thank you. I love those goddamn white pumps so much. I just look at them and I'm like, you're a real good friend to me. I love you. It was so fun. It was fun to be creative. Like one of my favorite parts was when we auction off desserts. So there like 16 to 18 people bake and donate desserts. And if you want dessert, you have to bid on it.
Oh, that's
And
clever. That's very
it's
smart.
really clever. So one of my friends, she made a cake that it was Barbie verse was the theme. She made a cake that like we all wanted when we were kids. Like it was the full Barbie dress with like the Barbie coming out of it. But it's like the creative part comes from like someone was we were auctioning off a Captain Crunch cake. And I was all, hand me the mic.
Yes.
I'm all, okay.
God.
All right. I'm like, you cannabis users out there, this is your cake, okay? This is your cake. And everyone laughed. And then when the bid got up to $420, I was like, $420.
Hey.
The bid's at $420. Yeah. It's just fun. It's fun. I was exhausted. My mouth was so dry when I was done. But it was like an opportunity to be creative. And I got to, use some of my writing. I do like a little icebreaker every time just to try to get people's okay, we're going to start this. And it was funny. I like threw Gen X under the bus, as we should be thrown under the bus, from time to time. It was great. And you were so kind to send me that text because it's true.
Oh my God, I was thinking about you. Like I was so excited.
When your creative endeavor, when it's done, like then the next day you're like, oh. And it's true. Like I definitely took some significant naps on Sunday, and on Monday I was so tired. I was just tired emotionally and creatively and, physically probably I was stressed out. And then today I haven't done ketamine at home yet this week. So I just want to give myself a pat on the back for doing this whole episode without being on a stimulant for my ADHD because I'm not supposed to be on a stimulant. So like I won't have caffeine.
Well, no
I
wonder
won't
you
have
yawning here and there. Your brain's
yeah,
just
probably
trying to,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so I'm excited to do that. And yeah, it's just I don't know. But those feel good. Yeah.
I'm so happy that it was such a great experience. You looked
Me too.
incredible.
Thank you.
That dress
Thank you so much.
was
I
sick,
appreciate
and
it.
your makeup was sick. Your red lip was like not
Thank
too
you.
much. Like it was really well done. Anyways,
I went to 3 stores to find that goddamn lip and lip liner.
you got
3.
the right one. And a red lip can it can go
so
left.
hard.
It is.
Yeah, it can.
Because it's so skin tone dependent, and if you get it wrong, it does all the wrong things.
Yeah.
And that was spot on. It was great.
And I gave myself my own snatched pony with fake hair but yeah, man, that dress. Oh God, I love that dress,
That dress
so
is
much.
sick.
I loved it.
Is it strapless?
Oh yeah, it
God,
was
you're
very
so
strapless.
bold.
I was like
Doink.
yanking that thing up all night, but
It looked amazing.
But I loved it. And it was comfortable. It's a comfortable dress. Stretchy fake leather,
Listen.
Oh my God. Well, everyone, that brings us to the end of our episode. We're so happy that you joined us. And yeah, follow Evelyn _wears _outfits. Rate, review, subscribe, pass it on. Our personal social medias, I don't know if you're interested. Mine is at lady _Higgy. And Margee is
At
yours
Margee
is
McGee, but it's the
at
same
Margee
content
McGee.
as Evelyn Wears Outfits, so
Yeah,
it's redundant.
yeah.
But at A Therapeutic Dose.
At A Therapeutic Dose. Oh my
Yeah,
God, yes.
there's that.
At A Therapeutic Dose is our Instagram. And you can also reach us at our email, which is atherapeuticdose@gmail.com. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
until next week when we conclude,
yes.
see what other things come out of their mouths. Words have weight.
Words have weight.
Dorit.
Well, everybody,
All
take
right.
good care of yourselves, and we will
Please,
talk
yeah.
next week.
Okay, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ramona and Margee are, obviously, not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.